You know, I think it must have something to do with my Celtic heritage, but I love a good story. Whether that story is told in film, whether it's told in poetry, whether it's told in prose, I just really love a good story. And those of us, there are a good number of us here that are of an age that can remember the days when on this Sunday, the fifth Sunday of Lent, in tradition, we covered all the images in the church. Because the gospel at that time was when Jesus was in the temple teaching, and this took place, and they then challenged him and accused him of blasphemy. And so he went and hid himself. And based on that, we would hide all the statues and images in the church. As one of the shortest altar servers in my parish, I always got stuck with covering the corpus. Myself and 3 other short guys had to climb the ladder to get up there to do it. But you know, we are at that point in the Lenten journey where the story is coming to conclusion. The story is coming to a head. The tension between the leadership of the Israelite community, brought together in the person of the scribes and Pharisees, and the person of Jesus, is coming into conflict. They're looking for a way to accuse him, and he's giving them plenty. At a time when he should have adhered to the law, he offered them compassion and mercy. And this continued to build the tension. Next Sunday when we come back, it's Palm Sunday. The palms will be up. We'll use the Passion, and we'll begin to enter into the final chapter of that story. But to be a part of that story is to be a part of the story of God's incredible love for the world and for its people. In a time when the law said, do this, she was caught in the act of adultery, therefore she gets stoned. We see that in the news, even today, in the Mideast. Those places that enact Sharia law, that's what they do. And we've seen cases of it on the news. That's what it goes back to. And yet, there is something in there that we say the mercy of our God is greater than that. And Jesus looks at us and says, before you accuse her, accuse yourself. Because we're very good at pointing out the sins of other people. We're very good at complaining about the sins of others. You know, they're usually on the top of our list for whenever we get together with friends for coffee. You know, all the different things that so-and-so and so-and-so have done. We're not so hot at pointing the finger at ourselves and standing before God in honesty and recognizing that before all else, we are in need of the compassionate mercy of our God. And today's gospel says, the compassionate mercy that you ask for from God, you must also demonstrate by sharing it with others. We repeat that every time we come together for the Our Father. Today at Mass, we'll pray the Our Father together, and we will say, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. The operative word is that little 2-letter word, as, meaning in the same way. God, forgive me my sins in the same way that I forgive the sins of others. It's easy for us to ask for God to forgive us. We all want that. It's not so easy to step up to the plate first, and offer it to others. In the gospel, when Jesus confronts the woman, he doesn't say, did you do it? Are you sorry? And then give her a long theological lecture on why what she did was wrong. He just simply says, does no one accuse you? Then neither do I. Go and sin no more. It's not saying, don't worry, it's okay. You know, life is tough. But the compassionate forgiveness of our God is here for you. Now stand in that grace. Draw strength from that grace. And go forward and sin no more. It's interesting. Scholars have, in comparing texts of the Gospel of John, notice that this passage disappears from the Gospel several times. If you look at ancient texts from the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th centuries, sometimes this passage is in and sometimes it's not. Their common consensus is that people believe that Jesus was just too forgiving, and that people in marriage might think there's a backdoor out. And so therefore, they took the passage out. But it belongs back there. You and I need first to be reminded of the incredible story of God's love for us, his people. Not because we're perfect, but because we are. I keep on going back to that phrase from the Hebrew Scriptures. I loved you, and so I created you. The love of our God came before our creation. The culmination of that love story comes during Holy Week. The full demonstration and manifestation of the depth and breadth of that love. But it's experienced by each of us individually in the compassionate forgiveness of our God that we experience, yes, in the sacrament of reconciliation, but I think we experience it first in the compassionate forgiveness of each other. That each home may be a place where spouses are willing and able to forgive each other, can demonstrate to young people that forgiveness is always possible, that compassion is a way of living, and that then in each family we build a society that is rooted on compassion. I love a good story, and we're engaged in one now. It is the best story that could ever be told, the story of God's love for us.